How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to Cinema of the Month. I know it's been about, 4 months since I've done this because I'm a stupid piece of shit and I just forget things sometimes. And then I also realized halfway through this month that I hadn't done one in a while. So, to get this year started with this one, we are going to be doing a joint month of February and January 2020 Cinema of the Month. So, if you're worried for spoilers, here's a spoiler warning ahead for the following titles. We have The Witcher 2019, Doctor Who Seasons 1 through 6, Knives Out from 2019, and Midsommar from 2019. So this has been your spoiler warning. To get us started, let's begin with number 1 on my list. In no particular order, of course. It's just what I wrote first. The Witcher 2019. The Witcher stars Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia, Anya Chalotra as Yennefer, Freya Allan as Ciri, with a fucking killer supporting cast, bro. It feels like there's a new cast in every episode with a couple characters streaming over from different sides because it kind of takes place over time. It doesn't hold your hand while you're doing it. So you're kind of like, oh wait, I thought that person died. And it's just like, oh, JK, the plot. In my notes, I literally said, good luck. So it follows the story of a witcher, a witch, and a princess. Basically, it takes place over time. Like, the first episode takes place before Ciri's even born, I think. I may be wrong on that. Sorry ahead of time. But it goes back and forth between the timeline, and it kind of became so confusing for some viewers that Netflix themselves actually put out an official timeline for the actual series to better understand the series. So, it's about the story of a witcher, a princess, and a witch trying to make the world a better place while not dying, pretty much, after a big civil war starts up and a bunch of shit happens in their lives. Yeah. Positives. This series has such good fucking fight scenes, dude. I'm telling you, I watched this interview with Henry Cavill talking about the episode 1 fight in the village. I don't remember what the characters' names are, but he fights the girl who's like the leader of like the gang people. I'm not really sure. And he was talking about how they choreographed that fight just for those two characters for that specific time, and how it was such a deep and meaningful thing. And them two are actually the ones who do like 90% of the fight. Besides, like, I'm not even sure Henry Cavill has a stunt double, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't. You know, the story arcs with all the main characters is so interesting. Even if it's like stupid. Like, Geralt meets Yennefer because Jaskier, did I say the name right? Sorry. Gets cursed and gets this lump in his throat that'll kill him. And so he offers her apple juice to help him.
I brought you apple juice.
It's such like a good fantasy genre kind of thing, which is my favorite style of cinema, I'd say. I love it so much. The plot's so interesting. Even if sometimes you're kind of like, why is this happening? Who is this person? When is this happening? I'm confused. You're still so captivated in what's happening. You're like, I don't care when this is happening or where this is happening. I'm just happy it's happening, you know? I really enjoyed the setup for season 2 without it feeling sequel baiting. So a lot of times, some of these seasons, especially Netflix shows, do this a lot. They'll make a whole season or a first parter or something like that just to set up a sequel. And you're kind of like, okay, what's the point of this story then? This series, I feel like, does a very good job at not doing that. It makes its own story set up and complete with also leaving loose ends that don't feel like plot holes to fill up season 2, 3, 4, however many they're going to make.
Who is Yennefer?
And I think this series did a great job of that. Another thing I really liked about the show is they involved a lot of people of color with the political side of things. And just being in the environment themselves. Something that Game of Thrones kind of lacked was their diversity. Even though I know it's kind of how it was written, but it was still strange. It was only non-white people in Dorne and everywhere else. Even though the main story took place in everywhere else. You know what I mean? And like the main part of Westeros, where it was only like white people. So it's kind of strange not to have anyone else. In the Witcher series, you're surrounded by people of color, which I kind of like. You can always include more. Always. I'm not saying it's like the best thing in the world. There's no main characters that are people of color, I don't think. But it's something I really did like with this show. So it felt like a more natural environment because I live in a very diverse area. And it's strange whenever cinema doesn't include more diverse people in a cast. So I don't know. I really enjoyed that. Negatives. So the out of order timelines is a little hard to catch on to at first, and I can understand why some people wouldn't like that. I didn't personally have an issue with it. I just didn't realize it was out of order until like the third episode, and I was like, oh wait, that happened because she died in the first episode. So I was a little confused at first, but I don't think it's a bad thing. But some people were complaining about it on Twitter, saying like, oh, this is so confusing, I don't get it. But it's also the same people who complain about Parasite having subtitles, so deal with it. Overall, I give this show a 10 out of 10. You heard me right, people. A 10 out of 10. I love this show so much. Let's move on.
Their core belief is that silence will fall when the question is asked.
What question?
The first question. The oldest question in the universe.
It's all still waiting for you. Doctor Who. The fields of trends along. Doctor Who. The fall of the 11th and the question. Doctor Who.
Get ready for this cast, guys. So, playing the Doctor, we have Christopher Eccleston playing number 9, David Tennant playing number 10, and Matt Smith playing number 11. With the companions as Billie Piper as Rose Tyler with Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant, Freema Agyeman as Martha Jones with David Tennant, Catherine Tate as Donna Noble with David Tennant, and Karen Gillan as Amy Pond with Matt Smith, and Arthur Darvill as Rory Williams with Matt Smith. So Doctor Who, if you don't know, is a show that's been running since the 60s. It's about an alien named the Doctor. We never get his real name, or their real name now. And he's an alien from the planet Gallifrey. He's known as a Time Lord. And he doesn't die. When they die, they regenerate into a new person. So it can be a new race, new gender, new face completely. The plot is basically this alien comes to Earth, right? In his time machine called the TARDIS, which is a police box from like the 50s. I'm not really sure. And basically solves crimes, whether it be on alien planets, on Earth, in outer space, on an asteroid, in front of a black hole. The list goes on and on and on. Let's go into the positives of this story. If you like sci-fi at all, like cheesy sci-fi, like if you like Fifth Element or Star Wars, probably, like old Star Wars, I think you'd love Doctor Who. It's weird, it's kind of dorky sometimes, but it's so fun. I love the like history behind it, how much fun. They reference the old Doctors all the time, even though there's like a 20-year hiatus between the 8th Doctor and the 9th Doctor. It's so fun. I love it so much. But Amazon took it off of Prime. So, Amazon, what's good? If anyone's interested, my favorite Doctor is Christopher Eccleston in his 1-season run that he had as the Doctor himself. Either him or David Tennant. Everyone else is great. Those two are just my favorite people in the world. Oh, love him as a Doctor. I'll always love the Doctor. I haven't watched any of Peter Capaldi or Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, so I can't judge them fairly yet. But of the three that I've watched, those two are... Honestly, it's Christopher Eccleston. Let's be real. I love him so much. Negatives, Prime took it off. Amazon, what's good? I rate this show a 10 out of 10. I love it so much. Our next film is going to be the 2019 smash hit, Knives Out.
That's some heavy-duty conjecture.
Funny, Ransom, you skipped the funeral, but you're early for the will reading.
Up your ass.
Very nice.
Ransom.
You gotta do this more often. There is one guilty party behind it all.
Spill it.
Oh my God.
Tell me what happened to my grandfather. I think you have something you want to tell me.
Yes, ma'am. So Knives Out stars Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, Ana de Armas as Marta Cabrera, Chris Evans as Ransom Drisdale. I'd say it's pretty much like the main people. There's a whole bigger cast. It's just so many people, like Michael Shannon's in there somewhere. Love the story so much. It's probably one of my favorite films of 2019 in general. And it came out at the very end. Like, what? So, it takes place over the course of, like, I think 2 days after their grandfather is killed. Or at least presumed killed. It's a big whodunit film. Very classic Clue, if y'all remember that story, board game. The cool thing about this story, spoiler ahead, by the way, for the entire story, she did it. At least she thinks she did it. She's not exactly sure. But she, around 3/4 through, knows she did it. So the entire time, like for like a good 20 minutes, we're sitting here like, oh my God, who killed him? Who killed him? And then we find out she killed him. And now it's like, oh God, let her run from the cops. Go, 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 go. Until it's eventually revealed that Chris Evans' character, Ransom, did it. He switched the bottles of medicine, put different medicine into a different bottle. Chris Evans' sweater. Do I need to say anything else? I like everything about this movie. That's one of the big notes I put. Everything. Everything about this movie is so great. I loved it so much. I went and saw it in the theaters like 3 times, which I'm about to do also with Birds of Prey, by the way, which I'll talk about in next month's video. Wink, wink. And my negatives, I literally put none, bitch. 10 out of 10. Next film.
Tomorrow's a big day. We only do this every 90 years. I was most excited for you to come.
Now, Midsommar was a horror movie that was made by the same guy who directed Hereditary. So, Midsommar, I'll give you the main cast, stars Florence Pugh as Danny, Jack Rayner as Christian, William Jackson Harper as Josh, Will Poulter as Mark, and Wilhelm Blomgren as Pelle. The plot is interesting. So basically, the beginning of the story begins with Danny's parents being killed by her sister after her sister's had some mental issues, and she's ready to get away. And her boyfriend Christian and his 3 friends, Josh, Mark, and Pelle, are all going to Pelle's village in Sweden to celebrate the annual Midsommar Festival. This specific festival happens every, I think it was 75 years. It's basically going through the tradition of Pelle's village and what happens. That's all. I got nothing. It's kind of interesting plot. Positives. Something I thought was really cool, which was a big aspect of this film, was that Midsommar was supposed to take place during the day, because a lot of horror films always take place at night, because humans naturally kind of are scared of the dark. And most horror films do take place at night or in dark places. But Ari Aster, the director, really wanted to switch it up with this one and have everything take place during the day, which I think was a really cool switch up. I love the horror set pieces. They don't hold back in this film at all. Very early on in the film, there is a elder sacrifice scene, and in this festival, the elders have to jump off a cliff. And it's 2 elders, 1 female, 1 male, and they jump off a cliff to die. And if you don't die after your cliff jumping, then they will kill you. Do not be a big deal. But it's very, like, to the American, and there's 2 British students there too, who are watching this like, what the fuck is happening? Oh my God, this is crazy. But I thought it was very interesting to watch. I did make a reaction video for it to put on this channel, but I couldn't get around the copyright stuff because I don't know how to edit things correctly, so it's currently blocked. But in that watch, I was just sitting there like, oh my God, this is so gorgeous. Oh my God. I may include a little clip of that right here. No, thank you. Oh my God. Oh no. But it was a very cool thing. And not just that one single set piece, all the set pieces. The final scene especially. Stellar performance from Miss Florence Pugh. Chef's kiss. Nothing else needs to be said. Negatives. I have 1 negative. Christian is a fucking douchebag. Case closed. I give this film a 10 out of 10. I love it. Case closed, bitches. Thank you guys so much for watching this next edition of Cinema of the Month. I love making these. I've been going through it mentally and have been having some issues, so I apologize if things aren't more consistent. I will attempt to make things more consistent, but obviously things happen and it probably won't be. But anyway, thank you for watching this and listening to my opinions. If y'all have varying opinions or think I'm fucking stupid or agree with everything I'm saying, let me know. I love to hear y'all's too. Y'all's too? Y'all too. Whatever. If y'all have any suggestions for my next month for March, go ahead and leave it below. If not, then just stick around and see what I make next. That's cool too. I don't care. And I will see y'all next month in my next Cinema of the Month. Month. I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all next time. Deuces.